48 hours. That's all it took. 48 hours for this so-called ceasefire to start falling apart. And I wish I could say I'm surprised. I wish I could sit here and tell y'all I didn't see this coming, but I'd be lying. And lying ain't what we do on this show. 2 days ago, you had the President of the United States and his whole team up there telling everybody we got a deal. Peace is coming. Iran blinked. Hegseth said they begged. Remember that? Iran begged for this ceasefire. That's what the man said. You remember. Well, let me tell you what's happening right now while that ceasefire is supposedly in effect. The Strait of Hormuz, the waterway where 20% of the world's oil supply passes through, is still closed. Not kind of closed, not mostly open with a few hiccups, closed. Tankers are being turned away. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is threatening to target any vessel that tries to pass through without their authorization. Major shipping operators, oil company executives, the head of Abu Dhabi's national oil company, they're all saying the same thing. The strait is not open. But wait, wasn't that the whole point of this ceasefire? Wasn't the #1 condition that Iran would reopen the Strait of Hormuz? That's what Trump said. That's what the deal was supposed to be about. Iran opens the strait, we stop bombing them for 2 weeks. So the strait is closed. Condition #1, broken. Now let's talk about condition #2, or whatever condition involves not bombing people during a ceasefire. Israel just carried out what they themselves called one of the deadliest days of the entire conflict in Lebanon. Residential neighborhoods, commercial areas, apartment buildings, families. And when somebody asked, hey, doesn't the ceasefire cover Lebanon? Israel said no. Pakistan, the country that brokered the deal, said yes it does. Iran said yes it does. But Israel said no. And apparently that's good enough for Washington. So you got a ceasefire where the main condition isn't being met. One of the parties is still bombing a neighboring country, and the mediator and the other party disagree about what the deal even covers. And you're telling me this is peace? Man, this ain't peace. This is a press release. This is a photo op. This is nothing. And here's where it gets worse. Because while this whole thing is crumbling, while the ceasefire that's supposed to be holding the world together is coming apart at the seams, what does the president do? He gets on Truth Social and makes a new threat. And I'm going to read you his exact words, because I need y'all to hear this from the man himself. Trump posted, and I quote, "If for any reason it is not, meaning if the deal isn't followed, then the shooting starts, bigger and better and stronger than anyone has ever seen before." The shooting starts. He capitalized it like it's a brand name. Like it's a product he's selling. The shooting starts, trademark, patent pending. 5,000 people are dead, and this man is turning military strikes into a catchphrase. And he also announced that all U.S. military assets, the ships, the planes, the troops, are staying right where they are, parked around Iran, ready to go. He said they'll stay there until there's a real agreement that's been fully complied with. So let me get this straight. We got a ceasefire that nobody is following. We got a strait that's still closed. We got bombs still falling on Lebanon. We got Iran saying the ceasefire has been violated by our side. And the president's response to all of this is not diplomacy. It's not de-escalation. It's the shooting starts. This ceasefire was dead on arrival. It was dead before the ink dried. Now, Vice President Vance is heading to Islamabad this weekend. He's taking Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner with him. And they're supposed to sit down with Iranian representatives and negotiate a permanent deal. I want you to think about that for a second. Jared Kushner. The same Jared Kushner who led nuclear talks with Iran right before we lost the strikes that killed Iran's supreme leader. You think Iran's negotiating team is going to sit across the table from that man and feel like they're dealing with an honest broker? Iran already said publicly that they distrust Witkoff and Kushner. They said it out loud. They told the world. And we're sending them back? That's like getting into a car accident with somebody and then asking them to be your driving instructor. It don't make sense. But here's the part that really got me today. And I need y'all to pay attention to this one because this goes beyond Iran. This goes beyond the ceasefire. This goes to the heart of how this country is supposed to work. Yesterday, House Democrats tried to pass a war powers resolution. Now, for those of you who might not know, war powers resolutions are how Congress, the people's representatives, are supposed to have a say in whether or not we go to war. It's in the Constitution. It's not optional. It's not a suggestion. It is the law. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries led the effort. Democrats tried to bring it to the floor through unanimous consent during a pro forma session. And you know what happened? The Republican presiding over the session, Representative Chris Smith, refused to even recognize the Democrats trying to speak. He didn't debate it. He didn't vote it down. He didn't let them make their case. He just closed the session. Meeting adjourned. Go home. Your voice doesn't matter. Let that sink in. The United States Congress, the body that is constitutionally required to authorize war, was silenced by a man with a gavel who simply said, "No, I'm not going to let you talk." We are at war. American service members are deployed in a foreign country. People are dying. And when the people's representatives tried to exercise their constitutional authority to have a say in that war, they were told to sit down and shut up. Now I want y'all to do the flip test with me. You know how we do. Imagine it's 2014. Imagine Barack Obama started a war in the Middle East without congressional authorization. Imagine Democrats controlled the House and refused to let Republicans even introduce a war powers resolution. Refused to let them speak. Fox News would have been on the air 24 hours a day calling it tyranny. They would have said the Constitution was being shredded. They would have said Congress was being turned into a rubber stamp. And you know what? They would have been right. But it ain't Obama. It's Trump. So Fox is quiet. The Republicans are quiet. And the Constitution is being treated like a napkin at a fast food restaurant. Use it and throw it away. Senator Schumer said when Congress comes back on April 14th, the Senate will hold a vote on a similar resolution. Good. Do it. Because somebody in Washington needs to remember that we are a democracy, not a dictatorship. And let me bring this home. Let me bring it to the kitchen table where it belongs. Brent crude is trading at $100 a barrel right now. $100. That's what happens when the Strait of Hormuz is closed and nobody knows if the shooting is going to start back up in 12 days. That oil price hits your gas station. It hits your grocery store. It hits everything. And I keep hearing people on TV saying, well, the markets will stabilize when the talks in Islamabad produce results. When? That's a big word. When? Because right now, there are no confirmed talks. There's no confirmed agenda. There's no confirmed attendance. The White House press secretary herself said nothing is final. Nothing. So you're paying more for gas based on a ceasefire that isn't holding, heading toward talks that might not happen, led by negotiators that the other side doesn't trust, while the president is on social media threatening to start shooting again. And Congress can't even have a conversation about it because the majority party won't let them open their mouths. This is where we are, America. This is April 2026. A ceasefire that lasted less time than a weekend sale at the mall. A president who turns war threats into catchphrases. And a Congress that has forgotten it works for you, not for him. I said it before, and I'm going to say it one more time. The only people losing in this whole mess are the regular folks. The family in Ohio who's paying $5 a gallon to get to work. The sailor on a Navy destroyer who doesn't know if he's coming home. The mother in Beirut who packed her bags thinking the bombs would stop and then had to unpack them again. The shopkeeper in Tehran whose business is destroyed and whose government won't even let him leave. Those are the people paying the price. And not a single one of them got a say in any of this. 12 days left on this ceasefire, if you can even call it that. Drop your prediction in the comments. Does this deal hold, or are we back to war before the month is out? Because from where I'm sitting, the clock is already running out. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because things are moving fast, and I ain't about to let you miss what's coming next. That's Straight Talk. I'm Curtis Banks, and the truth don't take a ceasefire.